But while his brothers were being prepared for royal duty, Prince John's world became smaller and smaller, until much of it consisted of a cottage, a garden, and the nurse who cared for him. Born in 1905, John was the youngest of 6 children. As a child, he developed epilepsy, suffering seizures that became increasingly serious. He also showed developmental and learning difficulties, though attempts to diagnose him retrospectively should be treated cautiously. As John grew older, his parents moved him to Wood Farm on the Sandringham estate. His devoted nurse, Charlotte Lala Bill, cared for him there. The decision partly protected John from the pressures and public scrutiny surrounding the royal family. But protection came with isolation. His parents and siblings were nearby, yet accounts suggest their visits could be infrequent. John had his garden, his toys, and Lala. Local children were sometimes invited to play with him, including Winifred Thomas, a girl who became an important childhood companion. But even his grandmother, Queen Alexandra, noticed what was missing. During one visit, John excitedly showed Alexandra around his home and garden. He seemed happy, yet Alexandra reportedly came away believing that her grandson was longing for a companion. Then, on the 18th of January, 1919, 13-year-old John suffered another severe epileptic seizure. He died in his sleep at Wood Farm. The family's private reactions were painfully complicated. Queen Mary wrote that John's death was simply heartrending and that she felt stunned. But she also described it as a merciful release from the suffering his condition had caused him. His eldest brother, the future Edward VIII, reacted much more coldly. Writing privately to his mistress, Freda Dudley Ward, he called John's death the greatest relief imaginable. His brother Bertie, the future George VI, responded differently, immediately worrying about their mother and wishing he could be with her. John was buried at St. Mary Magdalene Church, Sandringham, close to the grandmother who had worried about his loneliness. For decades, his story helped create the image of a royal child deliberately hidden away because his family was ashamed of him. The reality is more complicated. John was cared for. His mother grieved him. He had companions and a devoted nurse, but he was also separated from much of ordinary family life during his final years. He had been born into one of the most famous families on earth, yet when Prince John died at 13, his world had become extraordinarily small.